Good morning. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okun, and I've been talking about China. But my YouTube channel, the recording actually stopped abruptly, and so to continue from here in addition to the other video. So if you're watching this, watch it in conjunction with the other video. We're looking at China, linking China with the rest of the globe because of globalization, also because of capitalism, which is actually a global project. And I have said that China, like the rest of the world, is actually practicing an extreme form of capitalism, which transfers wealth from the hands of the few into the hands of the many, which is causing poverty in the hands of it's causing poverty among the majority who works for living. There are people in the world who work for living as of necessity, and these are actually the working class. And unfortunately, a lot of people do not realize that they are different. They don't realize they are actually poor people of the world. They assume that they are actually doing well, and definitely doing well doesn't mean you are rich. Because if you are you're working for a living with you work for an employer, and employment can stop. And when employment stops, and you are not a multi-millionaire, you're not a multi-billionaire, you're more likely than not to fall into poverty. And that is my idea of poverty, and I think people should understand poverty in that context. That the sense of instability in terms of income. And if you care about your life, then you pay attention to your property, which is your job, your income, your home, the things you have, which help you food and energy, water, medicine, healthcare. All these are actually the things you possess, actually or potentially or supposedly you're supposed to have access to all these resources, because these things we take for granted, actually they are the ones which support life. If they are not there, people are going to die, including medicine. If the medicine is not there, people are going to die, including housing. Housing, it's not there, people are going to die of elements. People are going to die of cold or extreme heat. We take these things on a very daily basis for granted. We no longer talk about them because, especially in the developed world, these things are readily available, through government support. But there has been changes where the government is changing the system across the globe, including in China, changing the system, and capitalism has become extreme, more right-wing, and poor people, including people who are not poor necessarily, people who work for a living, who are maybe middle class, who are not multi-millionaires. Because if you tell somebody they are poor when they probably earn maybe 200,000 or 300,000 pounds per annum, then they may disagree with you. But if you cannot build your home without borrowing, if you cannot build or buy your home without borrowing, if you cannot buy food or energy without struggling, then you are rich. It's a case now for me talking about this. I'm looking at different countries, different regions, different contexts, mainly policy and the law and how the economy operates, and the politics to go with it. That's what I've been doing. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. And thank you to everyone who have been subscribing. And also those who haven't subscribed, thank you also. Those who have been watching and those who haven't been watching, I'm grateful for your participation in one way or another. Every little helps. And continue supporting this channel. And leave a comment below and share the video with family and friends. So in 2003, China became the third country in the world to independently send humans into space with Yang Liwei space flight aboard Chengdu 5. And as of 2003, 18 Chinese nationals have journeyed into space, including 2 women. In 2011, China launched its first space station test bed, Tiangong 1. In 2013, the Chinese robotic rover U2 successfully touched down on the lunar surface as part of the Chang'e 3 mission. In 2019, China became the first country to land a probe, Chang'e 4, on the far side of the moon. In 2020, Chang'e 5 successfully returned moon samples to the Earth, making China the third country to do so independently after the United States and the Soviet Union. In 2021, China became the third country to land a spacecraft on Mars, and the second one to deploy a rover, Zhurong, on Mars after the United States. Talking about space, China completed its own modular space station, the Tiangong, in low Earth orbit on the 3rd of November 2022. On the 29th November 2022, China performed its first in-orbit crew handover aboard the Tiangong. In May 2023, China announced a plan to land humans on the moon by 2030. Infrastructure in China. The reason for looking at this material about China, which actually display the resources China has in terms of human resources, natural resources, technology, science, space travel, everything the Chinese and the China and the Chinese people own is actually being displayed in this process, reviewing this material, such as to show how capable these countries of the world, how capable they are, and how capable they are enough to provide a space where people can live peacefully, where people can access food and energy, people can communicate with one another, learn their culture, learn respect around the world, including in China. Foreign relationship, globalization, or mention this, and I've been mentioning this going forward, to show that the world is actually able to live peacefully if they choose to live peacefully, especially if the state choose to live peacefully. Then the world can actually attain peace, and the cost of living crisis is evidence of the absence of peace. That at the outset of this program has been my argument, and I think I've made the case very successfully to show that the incident, including the crisis such as the COVID-19, creating an extra burden on the global citizens, such as occurred, was actually evidence of failure, systemic failure, which occurs due to an extreme form of capitalism, the failure of the public sector to provide healthcare, to provide employment, and also the infrastructure associated with this. Let us look at the infrastructure itself of China. After a decades-long industrial boom, China has produced numerous world-leading infrastructural projects. China as the world's largest high-speed rail network, the most super tall skyscrapers in the world's largest power plant, the three Gorges Dam, and a global satellite navigation system with the largest number of satellites in the world. So look at China and its capability. And I've already said before that China, if we look at China, because of globalization, because of capitalism, and because of harmonization under capitalism, what happens in China is similar to what happens in America, in the rest of the world, including actually in Africa. We look at telecommunication in China, and also the internet penetration rates in China in the context of East Asia and Southeast Asia. Example, between 1995 and 1912, China is the largest telecom market in the world, and currently has the largest number of active cell phone of any country in the world, with over 1.69 billion subscribers as of February 2023. It has also the world's largest number of internet and broadband users, with over 1.05 billion internet users since 2021, equivalent to around 73.7% of its population, and almost all of them being mobile as well. By 2018, China had more than 1.1 billion 4G users, accounting for 40% of the world total. China is making rapid advances in 5G. By late 2018, China had started large-scale and commercial 5G trials. As of March 2022, China had over 5 million 5G users and 1.45 million base stations installed. China Mobile, China Unicom, and China Telecom are the three largest providers of mobile and internet in China. China Telecom alone serves more than 145 million broadband subscribers and 300 million mobile users. China Unicom had about 300 million subscribers, and China Mobile, the largest of them all, at 925 million users as of 2018. Combined, the three operators had over 3.4 million 4G base stations in China. And several of these several Chinese telecommunication companies, most notably Huawei and ZTE, have been accused of spying for the Chinese military. China has developed its own satellite navigation system dubbed Beidou, which began offering commercial navigation services across Asia in 2012, as well as global services by the end of 2018. Upon the completion of the 35th Beidou satellite, which was launched into orbit on the 23rd June 2020, Beidou followed GPS and GLONASS as the third completed global navigation satellite in the world. Nuclear transport in China. Since the late 1990s, China's national road network has been significantly expanded through the creation of a network of national highways and expressways. In 2028, China's highways reached a total length of 161,000 kilometers, 100,000 miles, making it the longest highway system in the world. China as the world's largest market for automobiles, having surpassed the United States in both auto sales and production. Now, these are actually to illustrate the wealth and capability of China, like I said, and also in terms of peace and peace processes. China is a capable country, and therefore factors such as the cost of living crisis is a sign of systemic failure of policy and of culture. The same occurrences such as happened in the rest of the world, including America and other parts of the world. This is the purpose of this exercise, to show that the world should live in peace. The world should actually operate a society without poverty or the cost of living crisis. China, as the world's largest market for automobiles, having surpassed the United States in both auto sales and production. The country also has become a large exporter of automobiles, being the world's second largest exporter of cars in 2022 after Japan. In early 2023, China has overtaken Japan, becoming the world's largest exporter of cars. A side effect of the rapid growth of China's road network has been a significant rise in traffic accidents, though the number of fatalities in traffic accidents fell by 20% from 2007 to 2017. In urban areas, bicycles remain a common mode of transport despite the increasing prevalence of automobiles. As of 2012, there are approximately 470 million bicycles in China. China's railways, which are operated by the state-owned China State Railway Group Company, are among the busiest in the world, handling a quarter of the world's rail traffic volume on only 6% of the world's track in 2007. As of 2021, the country had 150,000 kilometers, 93,206 miles of railways, the second largest network in the world. The railways strain to meet enormous demand, particularly during the Chinese New Year holiday, when the world's largest annual human migration takes place. China's high-speed railway HSR system started construction in the early 2000s. By the end of 2022, high-speed rail in China reached 42,000 kilometers, 26,098 miles of this dedicated line alone are making it the longest HSR network in the world. Services of the Beijing, Shanghai, Beijing, Tianjin, and Chengdu, Chongqing lines reached up to 350 kilometers per hour at 2017 miles per hour, making them the fastest conventional high-speed railway services in the world, with an annual ridership of over 2.29 billion passengers in 2019. It is the world's busiest. The network includes the Beijing Guangzhou high-speed railway, the single longest HSR line in the world, and Beijing Shanghai high-speed railway, which are three of the longest railway bridges in the world. These Shanghai make-left train, which reaches 431 kilometers per hour, 268 miles per hour, is the fastest commercial train service in the world. Since 2000, the growth of rapid transit system in Chinese cities has accelerated. As of January 2021, 44 Chinese cities have urban mass transit system in operation, and 39 more metro system approved. As of 2020, China boasts the fifth largest metro systems in the world, with the network in Shanghai being Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Chengdu, and Shenzhen being the largest. There were approximately 241 airports in 2021. China has over 2,000 river and sea ports, about 130 of which are open to foreign shipping. In 2021, the ports of Shanghai, Ningbo, Zhoushan, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou, Qingdao, Tianjin, and Hong Kong rank in the top 10 in the world in container traffic and cargo tonnage. So the Dutch Bridge is the highest bridge in the world. This will talk about China, its capability, resources, and also looking at the incident of the cost of living crisis, which I say is a sign of a failure of the state to provide peace under capitalism and under the global economic system. Faxing high-speed train running near the Beijing CBD. The Beijing Daxing International Airport features the world's largest single-building airport terminal. Looking at airport water supply and sanitation in China, water supply and sanitation infrastructure in China is facing challenges such as rapid urbanization, as well as the water scarcity, contamination, and pollution. This is a common problem in China as well as across the globe. According to data presented by the Joint Monitoring Program for Water Supply and Sanitation of World Health Organization, the UNICEF, in 2015, about 36% of the rural population in China still did not have access to improved sanitation. The ongoing South-North Water Transfer Project intends to abate water shortage in the north. Look at the demographic of China and also assessing the capability of China as a country, and also looking at the incident of the cost of living, which, as you have must have seen in the rest of the videos, that this is a mistake which could have been avoided, which can be avoided by managing more effectively the system of capitalism, and also beginning to learn our culture a bit more, to learn to live more peacefully. Because in my opinion, the cost of living crisis is evidence of violence, of failure to bring peace by the state. Population density map of the People's Republic of China in 2000. The eastern coastal provinces are much more densely populated than the western interior. The national census of 2020 recorded the population of the People's Republic of China as approximately 1.411 billion 778,728. This is the size of Russian by way of population demographic according to the 2020 census. About 17.95% of the population were 14 years old or younger. 63.34% were between 15 and 59 years old, and 18.7% were over 60 years old. Between 2010 and 2020, the average population rate was 0.53%. Given concern about population growth, China implemented a two-child limit during the 1970s, and in 1979 began to advocate for an even stricter limit of one child per family. Beginning in mid-1980s, however, given the unpopularity of the strict limits, China began to allow some major exemptions, particularly in rural areas, resulting in what was actually a 1.5 child policy from mid-1980s and 2015. And ethnic minorities were also exempt from one child limits. The next major loosening of the policy was enacted in December 2013, allowing families to have 2 children if one parent is an only child. In 2016, the one-child policy was replaced in favor of a two-child policy. This behavior of the state is explained by the state failing to manage the countries effectively under capitalism, and in which overpopulation is mistakenly blamed for causing poverty. Poverty is created when capitalism takes away wealth from the citizen and concentrates it into the hands of the other citizens who are actually the ruling class, the upper class, as well. It's a class system, which is the problem, which is actually a form of violence, which the government needs to really address by learning culture, respecting, prioritizing humanity, and looking after people more than power, more than wealth, and more than anything else. This is what I have said consistently. As explaining, every form of conflict, militarily, your environmental, social, you name it, all this lack of peace is actually created by our failure as humanity to manage human needs, to put human as a priority, and actually manage the world resources in a fair and equitable way, such as to get the population out of poverty anyway, and also make sure the super rich pay their fair share. Because you see, the system took wealth piecemeal and gave it freely to the super rich, who are the few. But then this is risking exclusion of the majority of the population of the world, including China. And this should change because it's a form of violence, it's a form of cultural failure. So the next major a three-child policy was announced on the 31st of May 2021 due to population aging, and in July 2021 all family size limits as well as the penalties for exceeding them were removed. So some element of reform in this situation is happening in China. But if you look across the globe, the idea of population reduction is actually operational, and also in other countries now, resources is being used to prevent people from having children. If poverty brings disruption or other form of violence bring disruption in family, family actually destroyed. The children, there's family breakups. Children are being taken by the state, put into care, and also put up for adoption. And this is a form of violence by the state on the people of the world, including in China. It's population control is a form of violence, with evidence of cultural failure, according to one group of scholars. One child limits had little effect on population growth or the size of the total population. However, these scholars have been challenged. Their own counterfactual model of fertility decline without such restriction implies that China averted more than 500 million births between 1970 and 2015, a number with the which may reach 1 billion by 2060, given all the lost descendants of births averted during the era of fertility restriction, with one child restrictions accounting for the great bulk of that reduction. The policy, along with traditional references for boys, may have contributed to an imbalance in the sex ratio at birth. According to the 2020 census, the sex ratio at birth was 105.07 boys for every 100 girls, which is beyond the normal range of around 105 boys for every 100 girls. The 2020 census found that males accounted for 51.24% of the total population. However, China's sex ratio is more balanced than it was in 1953, when males accounted for 51.83% of the total population. Look at the ethnic groups or list of linguistic groups in China, ethnic minorities in China, and ethnic groups in the Chinese history. So, looking at ethno-linguistic map of China in 1967, China legally recognizes distinct ethnic groups who altogether comprise the Zhongzhou, the Zhonggao, Minzu, the Zhonggao, Minzu. The largest of these nationalities are the Han Chinese, who constitute more than 91% of the total population. So the Han Chinese, the world's largest single ethnic group, outnumber other ethnic groups in every provincial level division except Tibet and Xinjiang. Ethnic minorities account for less than 10% of the population of China, according to the 2020 census. Compared with the 2010 population census, the Han population increased by 60.378 million 633 persons, or 4.94%, while the population of the 55 national minorities combined increased by 11 5 million 179 persons, or 10.26%. The 2020 census recorded a total of 845,697 foreign nationals living in mainland China. If you're looking at languages of China. Listing them, some languages in China being endangered, such as languages the Liaozhai High School in Jianshui, Yunnan. The sign is in Hani, the Latin alphabet, Nishu, Yi script, and Chinese. There are as many as 293 92 living languages in China. The languages most commonly spoken belong to the Sinitic branch of the Sino-Tibetan language family, which contains Mandarin spoken by 80% of the population, and other varieties of Chinese languages, including Cantonese and Tai-Shan-Shi, Wu, including Shanghainese and Shanghainese and Shuzhanese, Min, including Fujianese, Hokkien and Teochew, and Xiang, Gang, and Hakka, languages of the Tibeto-Burman branch, including Tibetan, Kyang, Nazi, and Yi, are spoken across the Tibetan and Yunnan, Guizhou Plateau. Other ethnic minority languages in southwestern China include Zhuang, Tai, Dong, and Shui of the Tai Kadai family, Miao and Yao of the Mongmian family, and the Wa of the Austroasiatic family. Across northeastern and northwestern China, local ethnic groups speak Altaic languages, including Manchu, Mongolian, and several Turkish languages, Oghuz, Kazakh, the Kriziks, Sala, and we stand. Yugo languages. Korean is spoken natively along the border with North Korea, as Sarikole, the language of Tajiks in Western Xinjiang is an Indo-European language. Taiwanese in indigenous peoples, including a small population on the mainland, speak Austronesian languages. Standard Mandarin, a variety of Mandarin based on the Beijing dialect, is also official national language of China and is used as a lingua franca in the country between people of different linguistic backgrounds. Mongolian, Uyghur, Tibetan, Zhuang, and various other languages are also regionally recognized throughout the country of China. So urbanization, including list of cities in China, by population megalopolises in China. Or so to speak, this list of cities in China population megalopolizing in China. So map of the 10 largest cities in China. In 2010, China has urbanized significantly in recent decades. The percent of the country's population living in urban areas increased from 20% in 1980 to over 64% in 2021. It is established that China's urban population will reach 1 billion by 2030, potentially equivalent to 1/8 of the world population. China has over 160 cities with a population of over 1 million, including the 17% 17 mega cities as one of the 2021 as of 2021 cities with a population of over 10 million of Chongqing, Shanghai, Beijing, Chengdu, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Tianjin, and Xi'an, so Suzhou, and Shenzhou, Shenzhou, Wuhan, Hangzhou, Linji, and Shizhangzhou, Dongguan, and Dongguan, and Qingdao, and Changsha. These are cities and areas in China. Among them, the total permanent population of Chongqing, Shanghai, Beijing, and Chengdu is over 20 million. Shanghai is China's most populous urban area, while Chongqing is its largest city proper, the only city in China with the largest permanent population, over 30 million. By 2025, it is estimated that the country will be home to 221 cities with over 1 million inhabitants. The figures is in the table. The figures in the table below are from the 2017 census and are only estimated and only estimates only estimates of the urban population within administrative city limits. A different ranking exists when considering the total municipal population, which includes suburban and rural populations. The large floating population of migrant workers make conducting census in urban areas difficult. The figures below include only long-term residents. Let us look at the population of Hong Kong as of 2018 estimate. The data of Chongqing in the list is the data of metropolitan developed area, economic area, which contains two parts: city proper and metropolitan areas. The city proper consisting of 9 districts. Yuzhong, the Dukou, Jiangbei, Xiaoping Ba, Xiulongpo, Nanan, Beibei, Yubei, and Banang, the urban population of 5.646 million and 300 as of 2018. And the metropolitan area consistent of 12 districts, Fuling, Changsha, Jiangyin, and Chuan, Yongshuan, Nanshuan, Guijiang, and Dazhou, Dishan, Tongliang, and Tongnang, and Rongchang, as the urban population of 5,841,700. So the total population of all 26 districts of Chongqing are up to 15,076,600. Look at education in China. Higher education and a list of universities in China. Beijing's Peking University is one of the top-ranked universities in China. Since 1986, compulsory education in China comprises primary and junior secondary school, which together last for 9 years. In 2021, about 91.4% of students continued their education at a 3-year senior secondary school. The Gaokao, China's National University entrance exam, is a prerequisite of entrance into most higher education institutions. As of 2020, 58.42% of secondary education graduates were enrolled in higher education. Vocational education is available to students at the secondary and tertiary level. More than 10 million Chinese students graduated from vocational colleges nationwide every year. China has the largest education system in the world, with about 282 million students and 17.32 million full-time teachers in over 530,000 schools. Annual education investment went from less than $50 billion in 2003 to more than $817 billion in 2020. However, there remains an inequality in education spending. In 2010, the annual education spending per secondary school student in Beijing totaled yuan 20,000 and 23,000, while in Guizhou, one of the poorest provinces in China, only total yuan 3,204. Free compulsory education in China consists of primary school and junior secondary school between the ages of 6 and 15. In 2021, the graduation enrollment ratio at compulsory education level reached 95.4%, and around 91.4% of Chinese have received a secondary education. China's literacy rate has grown dramatically from only 20% in 1949 and 64.5% in 1979 to 97% of the population over age of 15 in 2020. In the same year, Beijing, Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang, amongst the most affluent regions in China, were ranked the highest in the world in the program for the International Student Assessment Ranking for all three categories of mathematics, science, and reading. As of 2021, China has over 3,000 universities with over 44.3 million students enrolled in mainland China, and 240 million Chinese citizens have received higher education, making China the largest higher education system in the world. As of 2021, China had the world's second highest number of top universities, the highest in Asia and Oceania region. Currently, China trails only the United States in terms of representation on list of top 200 universities according to the academic ranking of World Universities, ARWU. China is home to the two of the highest ranking universities, Tsinghua University and Peking University in Asia and emerging economies, according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. As of 2022, two universities in mainland China ranked in the world's top 15, with Peking University 12th and Tsinghua University 14th, and three other universities ranking in the world's top 50, namely Fudan, Zhejiang, and Shanghai Jiao Tong, according to the QS World University Rankings. These universities are members of the C9 League, an alliance of elite Chinese universities offering comprehensive and leading education in China. Look at healthcare in China. We are looking at the capability of China as a nation in the world, one of the most powerful, perhaps also one of the most wealthiest, perhaps the second wealthiest in the world, only after America. Comparing this with the incident of the cost of living crisis, which is also occurring in China in the same manner it does in the rest of the world. And then we conclude that China has a capability to eradicate the cost of living crisis. The cost of living crisis being a symptom of society failing to promote peace, equality, and taking everyone, including the majority of the population of the world, out of poverty. Poverty occurring in modern societies, failure of policy, and also ignorance as to culture. Therefore, promoting culture, the society being in a state of failing to provide peace, to bring peace in the world. Look at healthcare in China, and look at pharmaceuticals industry in China, and look at COVID-19 pandemic in mainland China. So we look at the rise of China's Human Development Index from 1970 to 2010. The National Health and Family Planning Commission, together with the counterparts in the local commissions, oversees the health needs of the Chinese population. An emphasis on public health and preventive medicine has characterized Chinese health policy since early 1950s. At that time, the Communist Party started the patriotic health campaign, which was aimed at improving sanitation and hygiene, as well as treating and preventing several diseases. Diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and scarlet fever, which were previously rife in China. were nearly eradicated by the campaign. After Deng Xiaoping began instituting economic reform in 1978, the health of the Chinese people improved rapidly because of the better nutrition. Although many of the free public health services provided in the countryside disappeared along with the people's communes, healthcare in China became mostly privatized, and it experienced a significant rise in quality. In 2009, the government began a 3-year large-scale healthcare provision initiative worth US dollar 124 billion. By 2011, the campaign resulted in 95% of China's population having basic health insurance coverage. When we talk about health insurance in healthcare, this is the sign of government failure, which actually fails to provide free healthcare at the point of need for the majority, for the many, and where under capitalism the system having taken wealth away from the few, with the many and giving the same to the many, the few, which actually a form of violence, which has actually impeded any attempt by any country, including in China, to bring peace. In addition to their being limited understanding of culture, the value of humanity, the prioritizing the requirement of the need to prioritize humanity as a factor of progress. And this and the rest of the other factors create factors such as the cost of living crisis, which is also happening in China. And by 2020, China had established itself as a key producer and exporter of pharmaceuticals, and with the country alone producing around 40% of active pharmaceutical ingredients in 2017. As of 2020, the life expectancy at birth in China is 78%, is 78 years, and the infant mortality rate is 5%. Is 5 per thousand in 2021. Both have improved significantly since the 1950s. Rates of stunting, a condition caused by malnutrition, have declined from 33.1% in 1990 to 9.9% in 2010. Despite significant improvement in health and the construction of advanced medical facilities, China has several emerging public health problems such as respiratory illnesses caused by widespread air pollution, hundreds of millions of cigarette smokers, and an increase in obesity among urban youth. China's large population and densely populated cities have led to serious disease outbreaks in recent years, such as the 2003 outbreak of SARS, although these have since been largely contained. In 2010, air pollution caused 1.2 million premature deaths in China. The COVID-19 pandemic was first identified in Wuhan in December 2019. Further studies are being carried out around the world on the possible origin of the virus. Beijing says it has been sharing COVID data in a timely, open, transparent manner in accordance with the law. According to United States officials, the Chinese government has been concealing the extent of the outbreak before it became an international pandemic. Let us look at religion in China. Look at geographic distribution of religion in China. The Chinese folk religion, including Confucianism, Taoism, and groups of Chinese Buddhism, taught third court, Islam, ethnic minorities, indigenous religion, Mongolian, folk religion, Northeast China, folk religion influenced by the Tongas, and the Manchu, shamanism, and widespread Shanren Dao, the government of the People's Republic of China. The people of the government, the People's Republic of China, the government of the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party both officially espouse state atheism and have conducted anti-religious campaigns to this end. Religious affairs and issues in the country are overseen by the CCP's United Front Work Department. Freedom of religion is guaranteed by China's constitution, although religious organizations that lack official approval can be subject to state persecution. And so, over the millennia, Chinese civilization has been influenced by various religious movements. The three teachings, including Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism historically have a significant role in shaping Chinese culture and enriching a theological and spiritual framework which harks back to the Hale, Shang, and Zhou dynasty. Chinese population or folk religion, which is framed by the three teachings and other traditions, consists in an allegiance to the Shen, a character that signifies the energies of generation, who can be deities of the environment or ancestral principles of human groups, concepts of civility, cultural heroes, many of whom feature in the Chinese mythology and history. Among the most popular cults are those of the Mazu, goddess of the seas, and Wang Di, one of the two divine patriarchs of the Chinese race, Gandhi, god of war and the business and of business, Kai Shen, god of prosperity and riches, Pangu, and many others. And China is home to many of the world's tallest religious statues, including the tallest of all, the Spring Temple Buddha in Henan. Clear data on religious affiliation in China is difficult to gather due to various definitions of religion and the unorganized, diffusive nature of Chinese religious traditions. Scholars note in China there is no clear boundary between three teachings of religions and local folk religious practice. A 2015 poll conducted by Gallup International found that 61% of Chinese people self-identified as convinced as atheists, though Chinese religions or some of their strands are definable as non-theistic or humanistic religions, since they do not believe that divine creativity is completely transcendent, completely transcendent but it is inherent in the world, and in particular in the human being. So they don't believe in God, in short. According to a 2014 study, approximately 24% are either non-religious or practice Chinese. Folk believe 16% are Buddhists, 2% are Christians, 1% are Muslims, 8% adhere to other religious, including other religions, including Taoist, and folk are Salvationism. In addition to people's local religious practices, there are also various ethnic minority groups in China who maintain their traditional autochthon religion. Autochthon religions. The various folk religions today comprise 2 to 3% of the population, while Confucianism as a religious self-identification is common within the intellectual class. Significant faiths specifically connected to certain ethnic groups include Tibetan Buddhism and the Islamic religion of the Hui, Uyghur, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and other peoples in northwest China. The 2010 population census reported the total number of Muslims in the country as 23.4 million. A 2021 poll from Ipsos and the Policy Institute at King's College London found that 35% of Chinese people said there was tension between different religious groups, which was the second lowest percentage of the 28 countries surveyed. Let's look at culture and society in China. The Temple of Heaven, a center of heaven worship, and UNESCO World Heritage Site, symbolizes interaction between heaven and mankind. Moon Gate in a Chinese garden. Since ancient times, Chinese culture has heavily influenced by Confucianism. Chinese culture, in turn, has heavily influenced East Asia and Southeast Asia. For much of the country's dynastic era, opportunities for social advancement could be provided by performance in the prestigious imperial examinations, which have their origins in the Han Dynasty. The literary emphasis of the exams affected the general perception of cultural refinement in China, such as the belief that calligraphy, poetry, and painting were higher forms of art than dancing and drama. Chinese culture has long emphasized a sense of deep history and a large inward-looking national perspective. Examinations and cultural of merit remain greatly valued in China today.